to Mindful Reality channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective. It's your boy Mark. I am here once again, and sorry about earlier. Like what seems to happen? I don't know why. I'm like, right now is a perfect time to jump on my live, and then all of a sudden phone starts ringing, notifications. I'm like, why all of a sudden when I'm trying to do a live does this happen? So people are always like, it's buffering. It's not buffering. What's happening is if I answer a call, it just goes off. So it it buffers, I guess, because it holds the place of the live for a certain amount of time to give you a chance to get back online. And then, but the funny thing is, whenever I come back over, whenever I resume the live, everyone's gone anyways, and I don't think it notifies people in the same way when you pause and return as it does when you start a new one, because nobody really ever comes back unless it was a big live or something where that's happened before where there was a lot of people in the live and I leave and I come back. But generally, if it was like 10 people or less and I leave and come back, people don't get the same notifications, I don't think. But I'm starting this off a little bit differently than how I started off the last one. It's still about the same topic. It's just my thoughts change on a minute to minute basis. What happened was this morning or last night, I was going through all my different videos on my computer, the different videos that I have put together over the years, and there's a lot of them. There's a reason why I have two computers that are completely full storage. My phone storage is always full because I'm always posting things, and not just my phone storage is full. I have two external drives. It's a lot of things. Ooh, I just remembered something I wanted to eat, and I'm thinking if I still want to eat that thing. But anyways, that's besides the point for everybody. Hi, Ma, and hi, Kelly Yeager. So I was looking at my interview that I did with Cara Maria, and I was watching it back. I didn't even watch all of it. I watched 10 minutes. No, not 10 minutes. I watched 30 minutes of it. And as I was looking at it, I was thinking back to my interview with Wes Bergman. And I remember when I did that interview with Wes Bergman, I was sweating bullets. The reason why I was sweating bullets is because I'm like, this is Wes Bergman. This guy's a reality TV star for the past 20 years. And I was thinking to myself, who am I? I felt like I don't fill that seat the same way Wes Bergman fills his seat. And who the hell am I to be sitting here interviewing Wes Bergman when I'm not even an interviewer? And I remember it's not just Wes that I was thinking these things for. I was feeling that way when I interviewed Ayana. I was feeling that way when I interviewed Hannah. I was feeling that way when I interviewed Sam. There was always a point of the interviews where I was saying to myself, who am I to be sitting across from this person, asking them questions like I'm somebody who does that? I'm not this person or that person. I'm not going to keep listing them out because y'all know there's only a few popular reality TV bloggers in the game. Y'all already know who they are. So I was thinking I'm not any of those people. So, but then I would get into the conversation and I would be like, this is just a conversation and this is my specialty. And when I looked at that Cara Maria interview, despite the fact that I am still a perfectionist and what time is it? 1:40. Okay. Despite the fact that I'm still a perfectionist and I still look at things in that interview that I wish that I had done a little bit differently, I said, this is probably, I feel, the most polished interview that I have ever done. And not just that, the most comfortable that I ever felt giving somebody an interview. I mean, a part of it is yes, because I've clicked with Kara as a person. She's just a person who just resonates with me as a person. But another part of it was I felt like I am somebody filling this interview chair. I don't have to be somebody who's known at an equal level as them. There's people who are deep fans of interviewed, and they have told me, or like commented in the comment section and said, they were just like, hey, I've watched hundreds of interviews of this person, and your questions were different, and I liked the spin you had on this, and I liked how your interview is more focused on mental health aspects. And I've even had people that I've interviewed tell me, which is one of the biggest compliments to me, for them to say, I've done X amount of interviews, and the one that you gave me either was my favorite, or we dove into some questions that nobody has ever asked before. This is what Sam said to me. This is what, oh, I know where I wanted to go. Shoot. We'll figure that out later. Anyways, figure that out later. Give me one moment. One moment. I'll be right back. There's no comments in here anyway, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I thought of something that I needed to do, and then I remembered I can do that thing by my job. So I'm gonna stay on here and finish the rest of what I am planning to do. Okay, so anyways, yeah, when I watched that interview back, the 30 minutes of it that I watched back, it's like I go through these periods of time where my biggest thing that I'm focused on when I do the interview is the views. And I'll sit there and watch an interview that somebody has done of some of these same people that I've interviewed, and their interview has 30,000, 20,000 views, 10,000 views. My interview has 500 views, 800 views. That particular one was my highest performing one. Actually, it was 1,700 views, which is not bad, especially considering when I did it, my channel probably had 1,000 subscribers or so. And I'm a one-man promotional team, one-man band. I do everything myself. I create the concepts. I put the ideas together. But yeah, I completely didn't do any interviews at all in 2024. And my only interview that I have done of this year is that Tara interview. So I've done one interview in a 2 year span, but it's something I really like. So I'm thinking that I'm feeling like I want to get back into that bag of just reaching out, interviewing people, getting to show my creativity, and it's something that I like. My process is a fun process that I didn't know would be fun until I started doing it. Because when I first started with it, it was stressful. Now, I'll tell you when it changed from stressful to fun for me, because I know exactly what happened to make that happen. So I still recall I had my 4 to 5 interviews, and then I was on a hot streak with getting people to do these interviews with me. There was one period of time where it was a short span of time. I interviewed Chaz from the Circle. I interviewed Sam and Shuby from the Circle. I interviewed a few people. Like I interviewed quite a few people within a short span. That was in 2023, and I remember then I was trying to find somebody else to interview, and I was either just getting a no as an answer or wasn't getting an answer at all. And I'm like, well, how can I continue this interview career without anyone to do interviews with me? That's what I was thinking. That's what I was feeling. So I remember this thing popped up where a Twitter fan, like a Big Brother fan on Twitter, said something about Alyssa Lopez from BB season 23 and said something about her going back to her job at Hooters, and basically just saying like she failed at life for going on a national TV show and ending up back in her original job that she was doing before. And I was like, why would that make you a failure? Because first of all, she didn't even win the show. She didn't even win the show, so it's not like she went home 750K. She was on the show a couple of years ago at that particular point in time. And third, I mean, a lot of them, I'm sure, go back to their jobs because you get your 15 minutes of fame. It takes a lot to maintain yourself, I believe, as a reality star that does just reality for a living. Like somebody like Cara Maria's life, it's impressive to me how she maintains her life. I know there's other things she does on the side, aside from gigs and getting booked and stuff like that and doing shows. But that's her main suite. Like that's actually the main way that she makes her bread and butter is traveling and getting booked to do different things. You know, as a name, as a known person. But the majority of them are not like that. It's like reality TV money that they get off of those things is just side money that they get for the majority of them. Not all, but my point of the matter is it's not an easy way to make a living. So I made a video where I said I compared her situation to the guy who played Alvin on the Cosby Show because I recall somebody took a picture of him working at Trader Joe's and was like, "Ha ha, dude is working at Trader Joe's." I'm like, when was the Cosby Show on? Like in the 80s. So you thought that from the 80s until 2000 and whatever that year that was, that the dude was never gonna have a regular job again for the rest of his life. And then I remember he got featured on a network. I forgot which network it was, but they interviewed him. Somebody gave him an acting gig, and he said it's actually very common for actors between acting gigs to work in between because they still have to pay the bills, unless there's Denzel Washington or some top actor that the salary that the money that they command in general is just so much that they don't have to do regular work. But basically, it was just to say, why would you count on somebody from a reality TV show for continuing on with their life after the show is over? So somebody suggested to me, like, hey, you should talk to Alyssa Lopez, reach out to her, mention that to her, show her your video, and interview her. And I was like, I don't really want to interview Alyssa Lopez. There was no offense and no disrespect to Alyssa Lopez, because it's not like I didn't like her per se, but it was I wasn't the hugest fan either. So I was like, if I'm not a huge fan of the person that I'm interviewing, why am I going to interview them? I thought about it some more. The person who was suggesting it kind of framed it to me in a different way. Like, you know, you're not always going to get the big fish in the interview. Like, sometimes you're going to have to interview, smaller fish in between, and then you build up your portfolio. And then I think they told me to think about it like a research project. It's somebody that you don't know very well, but you get to know them to be able to ask them some good questions, and it might surprise you. And it did, because when the show was done, I didn't know jack about Alyssa Lopez at all. I didn't know anything about her. I knew very little. And I remember I was like scouring the internet to see what she has out there. I found this podcast that Kylan was doing at the time. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was doing it at the time, and it was really good. Actually, I liked it. And she was, I think, his first guest on that podcast, and I learned some things about her life, like different things that she was talking about that were really interesting. And then I was able to ask her some questions, and it was like I really genuinely enjoyed that conversation. Let me refresh again just in case. I really did enjoy that conversation. So from there, that's when I really started to enjoy the process, because I did start to look at everybody's interview that they did with me similarly like a research project, where I'm like, what kind of things can I ask this person that are different, that are open-ended questions that make them think? And then I like when they give me answers. Wes, my first interview with Wes kind of taught me to be more flexible with these interviews, because I remember I wrote out 3-4 pages of questions for Wes. And I was all excited to get through all these questions for Wes, and he told me I have 1 hour. And for some reason in my mind, I thought that I could ask Wes my 3, 4, however many pages worth of questions in that 1 hour. And I remember I got through possibly page 1. I don't even remember if I got through page 1 in its entirety, but I got through a lot of the page 1 questions. I think I skipped some and skipped on a little bit to page 2 when he said we got to wrap this up. But I was so disappointed with my interview, not because the interview was bad or because I didn't like his answers to the questions or anything like that, but the reason why I was upset about it was because I put in all this work to put these questions together and didn't get to ask those questions. But then when I got the feedback on the interview, people were like, this is one of the best West interviews I've ever seen. Your questions are different than anything I've ever seen somebody ask, yada, yada. And then I remember I did this joint interview with Danny, and it was my Chaz interview. And the way that she gave me all these different tips about my process, I don't know. I don't know who would be interested in this, but hey, somebody might be. Who knows? My process was altered by the tips that Danny gave me, because she said, you know what, I love your interviews, but one thing I seem to notice about your interviews is it seems like you're kind of getting into your pocket of questions, and then it looks like there's more things that you want to ask, and then you run out of time. I said, you got all of that from just watching my interviews? She was like, yeah. And I was like, that is shockingly, extremely accurate. That I write out all these questions and I run out of time. So she said, here's something that you can do to counter that. She said, you can't really control how long each person you interview is going to talk. Some people give you like really short, concise answers. Some people talk your ear off each and every question. Like, as an example of those two names that I just used, or the three names that I used, here's those three, right? Alyssa Lopez, I actually had a few pages of questions for her, and I started going through the questions, and then I was like, she gave me an hour, I believe, and 30 minutes into my interview, she answered all the questions. And I was like, whoa, this has never happened before, that I've written out a whole bunch of questions and the person that I'm interviewing answered every single question. And now what am I going to do? So I had to just freestyle for the next 30 minutes because I did not want to waste my hour that I got. Wes, on the other hand, has never heard of a answer in his life. So, like I said, he usually, so it's two different things. So what she said is, think about, just when you're doing your brainstorming, write out every single question that you want to ask. It doesn't matter what order, it doesn't matter if it's in chronological order, whatever. And then once you've written down all the questions, yes, I am back. Hey, chocolate. Once you have finished writing out all the questions, then you take a look at the questions and you kind of you group them together. You make it concise. That was part two, because she had looked at it and was like, okay, some of these questions are redundant. You don't need to ask this and this. You can combine this together. And then from there, she was like, take all the questions that you've written and then now put them in groups where you take the most important questions. Like, if you could only ask, let's say, if you could only ask 10 questions for this whole interview, what would those 10 questions be? And put those things at the beginning of the interview. Then medium level questions, like, I'm still interested in these particular questions, but it won't be the end of the world if I don't get to ask these questions. Put those in the middle. And then questions that are just like, what do you like for breakfast? You know, do you like cream of wheat, or do you like bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a roll? Like that kind of question. For the very end, the throwaway questions that I can ask these potentially, or I cannot ask these potentially, but it's not going to make or break the interview for me. So we did that with Chaz, and actually grouping them in that way, I feel like I think we got through all the questions, but when it came to other people that I interviewed after that interview, that new format became really fun and it became really cool. And the only reason why my passion for the interviews kind of comes and goes is because I've told you guys, the process, it's hard to get the interviews. I want to get this interview. The reason I'm talking so much about interviews is because I want to get this interview done with not Hannah, Ashley. And I'm going to get to meet Ashley this Thursday at this amazing race watch party thing that was $12, by the way. $12. Thank you, Insomnia, for having me be up late at night last Thursday and see this advertisement, early bird special, $12 watch party that Ashley is going to be at. But what kills me is I feel like I could give y'all the best Ashley interview you've ever seen in your life. Genuinely. I genuinely feel that way. But there's so much red tape around me being able to get an interview that is so discouraging. Go ahead. It's so discouraging. West video old. The West video, I interviewed Wes twice. I interviewed Wes once in, I can't even remember anymore. It was probably one of them was 2022 and the other one was 2023. So, yeah, a couple of years ago. I interviewed him a couple of years ago. I don't know why they give me a hard time either. I mean, like, quite honestly, to be quite honest, at this point in time, I'm not kissing anybody's behind. Wes, I didn't just post a Wes interview, Wes video. I posted you're talking about the Kara video? Because that one was from June. I mean, that one was from January. Sorry. I don't know why I said June. That was from January, so that was, what, 10 months ago? Yeah, so I guess it's pretty old. That was from 10 months ago. What did I need to get in this grocery store? Ooh, I got an idea. Yeah, I was saying before you got here that was my only interview of this year so far. And the way that I would love to get an Ashley interview, because she's not following all the rules that everybody else is so scared about. You know how amazing it would be to ask someone like that questions? I mean, I don't know why CBS gives me a hard time either, because I don't feel like I got a crazy channel. I don't have one of those channels where I'm asking all these production secrets. I don't have a channel that's vulgar. I don't have a channel that you're like, oh my goodness, if this person goes on that channel, it's going to be a PR nightmare. I I don't have a channel where I'm gonna kiss anybody's behind to get an interview. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's I don't know. Wait, mushrooms. I don't know if I'm being prideful or I don't know, but at this point, I mean, I've openly talked about how they don't give me any interviews and how I've been told by so many different people, send them an email and they have them review your channel and you know, I've done so and I've never gotten a response. It's only 2 people that I've ever gotten interviews, 3 of them from CBS. Would you? Of course I would. That's the main reason why I want to interview her. Definitely would ask her. But getting the interview, that's the part that is hard. I know, I don't get it. Do people get blacklisted? I don't get it. I've seen channels like that as well.
You want to pay phone number?
What do you say?
Your phone number?
Yeah.
Press phone number top.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think it's because I posted season 24 content. No, I don't, because in season 24 I did that. I mean, in season when I was covering season 24, I could understand that being a reason for blocking me, I guess, from interviewing season 24 contestants. But now I have a different channel. I don't even have that content on my channel anymore. I went through a whole 2 seasons without a whole 2 seasons on this channel. Season 25, 26. I think I just started on this channel. Wait. No, it might have been season 25. Was it season 25 or 26? I can't remember. But anyways, I have either one or two full seasons that I covered without reusing any of their content, aside from, my funny little clips that I post in the stories, like the Vincent Morgan stuff. But aside from that, I don't know. Unless they scour the internet and check for all the stuff that you've put out, I just don't know if they are so intensely focused on like a channel like mine, but maybe they are. Somebody suggested to me one time that they think that, production teams send people to scour the internet and see whether things are being painted. To see people's channels and, to decide which channels they will grant those interviews to or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Positive vibes. Positive vibes for this Ashley thing. I'm hoping that I can make it happen. I'm going to go into it with a positive outlook. I'm just going to ask her. The worst that she could say is no. But what I'm hoping for, and I can never guarantee this, because I don't know how much time will I get to speak to her, or if it's going to be loud in there, But my aim, my goal is that if I can't get her to agree to an interview, then hopefully I can at least ask her a few things in the venue. That's plan B. And if I don't really get to ask her much of anything on camera, I'm going to at the very least foster a conversation with her, and I'm going to try to leverage pre-existing relationship with Hannah and the fact that we have an interview already. Like, I did an interview with her and their, close friends. So maybe all those things will be factors, because actually I feel like Hannah in some way helped me to get this Alyssa interview, because I found out later that they talked before that interview. You never know. I'm not holding my breath, but I'll cross my fingers. Rock you. We will rock you. Yeah, like an Ashley interview. Listen, man, The reason why my favorite interview, a part of the reason why my favorite interview, my top two interviews were Sam and Wes, because I'll tell you, for Sam's interview, right? I've told this story before. Let me refresh. All right, just in case that this is a glitch and people did not just jump off of here. I've told this story about this Sam interview before. But I'm just going to skip to the point because I'm not telling the whole story from A to Z. Basically, we were waiting for the videographer to show up. Me and her were just sitting in this coffee shop. She was like, "Don't worry, I got time. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm going to sit here until you and I complete the job." Right? So we sat in there, we were speaking. I didn't want to talk to her about stuff that I was going to ask her because I wanted to just jump into the interview and, I wanted to get her authentic reactions to my questions. But because it was so much time, before that videographer got there, uh, we did end up jumping into some things and about the show. And she started telling me things that I didn't have as questions, and they were kind of teased. But I was like, I know that she's not going to say these things in my interview, so I guess I'll just take this as an interesting conversation between she and I, right? So I said to her, I know you're probably not going to be allowed to talk about this in your interview, but I just had to ask, is there a restriction on speaking to you about this? She was like, absolutely no restriction. She was like, absolutely no restrictions at all. You can ask me any question that you want, and I'm going to answer any question that you ask. I was like, oh, bet. Really? So, I mean, it's not like my interview was that risque or whatever, but, she was right. I asked anything I wanted, and she answered everything I asked. And then Wes told me the same thing. And I asked him everything I could within the allotted time that he gave me. And, when you don't have restrictions, it's amazing. But for the most part, when you interview CBS, people that sign CBS contracts, which I have done a couple of times, the content kind of reflects that, and I will leave it at that. But anyways, I'm jumping off this thing. Thanks for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. Appreciate each and every one of you. Have an amazing day.